the south of the Indian Ocean, beautiful and wild. Winds and sea can be most violent and ruthless. We're between the latitudes 40 and 50 in the southern hemisphere, right in the roaring 40s. December 2nd, the fourth week of the race is coming to its end when Sebastien crosses the Kerguelen Islands. The National Navy's helicopter, which also flew over Armel Leclerc and Alex Thomson, is once again at the meeting point. Uh-oh, I think I got caught over speeding. Just kidding. It's great to know the Navy's in the neighborhood. Going full speed at 25 knots, Edmond the Rothschild is among the boats whizzing down a slide named Indian Ocean. Esquito de Pavon's Bastille d'Autio, the latest to have crossed the Cape of Good Hope's longitude. Welcome to the Indian Ocean. Weather's nice for now. Gliding, but you still gotta hang on. Among the fleet, Quito de Pavon is sort of a mediator between the group ahead, over 5,000 kilometers in front, and the pack, which is 1,300 kilometers behind. A posse of 10 boats, still in the Atlantic South, beginning to smell the heady scent of high latitudes. We're en route. The roaring 40s. They're starting to roar. The boat reaches speeds of about 24 knots at times, and we're sailing in 30 to 32 knots winds. It's great. I love it. Apart from Didac Costa and Sebastiem Desmarau, all competitors are now confronted to the classic patterns of low-pressure system sweeping across west to east in the southern latitudes. Life on board, with its enjoyments, required to organize accordingly. We're between two depressions. In fact, we hit our first depression yesterday, waiting for the next, which should come tonight. I'm enjoying the little calm, having a pancake party. Found this in my food bag. Not bad, huh? The third. All right, the last. Gonna have dishes to wash. Oh la la. This is a squid, and it's very tasty. Bon appetit. It's really good. Really good. Romain Tanasio, Kojiro Shiraishi are both having a first taste of the Vendee Globe. And until now, it's rather nice.
There is Armel Leclerc on Banque Populaire. He's slowly catching up me overnight. So he's obviously come with a bit better breeze, but I'll be back on starboard in less than a day, so we look forward to that. In the meantime, I'm going to push hard as I can and try and stay in touch with this guy.
Chronicles of a promising duel between Alex Thomson and Armel Leclerc, who keep taking each other's lead. Oh, we had a great jibe fight yesterday. And to be back at contact with Alex this morning, we were edge to edge, and then I succeeded on taking the lead a little, so all the better. It's a good thing. Now, can't do anything silly. We've got a long way to go still to reach Les Sables d'Olonne. A lot is yet to happen. Armel Leclerc isn't famous for reading coffee grounds, but you've got to admit his prediction came true. The pack is approaching the Cape of Good Hope.
Man, if you thought you were having a bad day, just look at mine.
Conrad Coleman's boat went bearing off, and it happened following the drop of the automatic pilot, which occurred after a short of the electronic on board. Fortunately, the New Zealander has the situation under control. Earlier on, not far from here, a mast and mostly a dream shattered. End of the game for Kojiro Shiraishi, first Asian competitor in the race's history. Forced to abandon, the Japanese will have moved us until the very end. He will miss the Vendée Globe, but we will miss him in the Vendée Globe. I dried my tears. It's very, very infuriating. But if I'm still alive, it means the sea wasn't so cruel. I wish to thank all the people who helped me. I will come to apologize to everyone after I arrive in Cape Town. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry. I have no other words to say. Four mainsail battens broken. Oh, that's a bummer. Gonna have to fix that. I already prepared everything to fix my battens. Here are the broken pieces. All right, it's done. Made the mainsail. Took me a lot of time, some energy, but it's back in order with a mainsail in good state. That's it. Great. About a month now that the Vendée Globe has started. We're at a moment in the race when sailing conditions are getting tough for the whole fleet. Great strain is put on equipment. Men are subject to fast paces and near exhaustion. We're finally caught up by the depression. Sea isn't too rough, however, there's a lot of wind, 35, 40 knots. It's not over yet, but it feels like it's calming down a little. The last 24 hours were extremely difficult. I'm anxious it be over so I can rest a little more. Paul Meillat, relieved of Jérémy Bayou, who seems to face problems with no end. After the pilots and the satellite antennas, it's now his mainsails traveler head that busted. Right in the middle of the Indian Ocean, Maître Coq's skipper deviates from his course so to intervene in less agitated waters. On the morning of December 5th, 1,200 kilometers south of Cape Lewin, Armel Leclerc crosses Australia's southwestern tip. It felt good to cross the second cape ahead. Wasn't exactly an important objective, but it's always nice to cross one of these three mythical capes in the lead. In 28 days and 20 hours, the actual Vendée Globe leader established a new time record between the Sables d'Olonne and Australia. 5 days and 14 hours less than François Gabard in 2012, a transit time which suggests that on a longer term, records could be broken. For Romain Athanasiou and Sebastien Jos, this very same 5th of December has a totally different flavor. I was outside taking pictures this morning when I hit something and broke both routers. I have a spare router on board. One is maybe only half broken. I'm going to try to fix it. The other one looks completely destroyed. So I'm sailing the wind, it's rough, heading towards Cape Town, the only place where I can stop in the bay and try to repair, see exactly what it all looks like. That's it. Such misery. For Sébastien Jos, his boat went overspeeding in a surf and crashed into a wave. The impact was such it seriously damaged his port-side foil. Sébastien is now sailing in 40 knots gusts, 6 to 7 meters high waves. He's put the race on hold until he finds maneuverable conditions. There, the verdict was without appeal.
On n'est pas passé loin de l'incorrectionnel.
We came close to the ultimate penalty. Could have been even worse if the foil had come off the boat. Would have had a water ingress, and today I don't know how to secure this apprentice. It's not reliable. Here, it's the sailing spirit and safety that's talking. It's not easy to stop because we've put a lot of energy into it. Great investment. And we're here for the competition. That's always the hardest. To sit and watch the others continue the regatta. And when it doesn't want to, it doesn't want to. In the morning of December 6th, Quito de Pavón is victim of great damages. His boat hits an unidentified floating object and broke its keel. I don't know how this story is going to end. Must the decision be to evacuate the boat? It's gonna be complicated. Damn it, it's too dangerous. Today's Tuesday, and for me, the Vendee Globe's over. Localized north of the Crozet Islands, Quito knows his boat can capsize at any moment and finally asks to be rescued. Immediately, the racing directors alerted the Marine Rescue Centers. In less than 24 hours, Quito de Pavón is taken on board the Marion Dufresne, the supply vessel of the French Southern and Antarctic lands out on mission. This is the first time I abandon a boat. I don't bring it back somewhere. True, it's hard for the morale, for the mind. It's hard for me today. Lots going through my head. It's terrible, but with 3 participations, Quito de Pavón will not have been able to achieve a Vendee Globe. Of this cruel week, let's remember a few positive points, like Éric Bayon's successful intervention on his starboard rudder. When you see the cut, it's crazy. I'm exhausted. But what counts the most is this, the new rudder I installed. This, I can tell you, I'm really proud of this fight because, I don't know, for 100 times I wanted to quit, telling myself I wouldn't be able to pull it off. I'm at it since 5 this morning. It's now 4 p.m., altogether 11 hours. So, never give up. Never. Let's hope Romain Athanasio, at anchor near Cape Town, will soon be able to get back into the race. And finally, we'll keep our fingers crossed for Armel Leclerc and Alex Thomson to keep carrying out this incredible duel. Both have passed the midway mark and entered the Pacific Ocean. They're on their way back. Camera 2, rolling, outside please. After Jean Le Camet's great report in the South Seas, here's Jean Le Camet's director of a film named When the Exceptional Becomes Our Everyday Life.
Et voilà.
So here, surf on board Finistère Mervent, more than 26 knots. Of course, the horizon isn't horizontal, well, because the boat is slightly tilted. So, gotta lean your head. I don't know which way though. But hey, that's for the filming outdoor. Let's get back to camera 1. The studios, camera 1. All right. The human being has an incredible capacity to adapt. I'm always amazed by the human being's ability to cope with situations that last. And we think we can't make it, but we do anyway. This illustrates well our topic of the day. The exceptional becomes our everyday life. All this doesn't prevent Jean Le Camet to be 7th in the ranking and near Australia's longitude at great speed. 1,800 kilometers in front, it's also going faster Paul Meillat, 3rd, though way behind the duelists Armel Leclerc and Alex Thomson. Yesterday noon, we crossed the Cape Lewin south of Australia, and next stage is Tasmania, marking the split between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific. Everything's going well. A little tiring because there's going to be strong winds for the next days. Within the pack, Fabrice Amedeo is making his way through the Great South, where he'd never had the opportunity to sail. The South is absolutely up to my expectations. What I'm discovering, and hadn't imagined, is that the weather systems keep changing, and they change fast. At the passing of a front 36 hours ago, and I'm gonna get another one tomorrow night, maybe if I can't stay ahead. So it's non-stop, and it's quite tonic. To close off this difficult week, punctuated by Kojiro Shiraishi, Sebastien Jos, and Quito de Pavón's abandons, some good news straight from Cape Town, South Africa.
Est-ce que vous voyez?
Hey, do you notice anything that's changed here? What is there on the boat? There are 2 rooters in place. We're back in the race.
I'm really annoyed. Really annoyed. Look at this. We are at 3923 south. Nearly in the roaring 40s. Alright? The roaring 40s, remember? We have 4 knots of wind. 4 knots tonight. The boat is stopped, the waves, because of the waves. And we're going 1.4 knots the wrong direction because of the tide, because of the current. So we're going backwards. We are in the roaring 40s. You know what happened? I reckon whilst I had my back turned or whilst I was asleep or something, someone went to the doldrums, picked up the doldrums and dropped them right here where I am, right there, outside Cape of Good Hope. That's the doldrums. And guess what? This is going to last for 2 days. I'm right here for 2 days. I'm not going to move. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here.
Hi everybody, well it's 1 o'clock GMT in the afternoon. It's pitch black here. We'll be getting light soon. Luckily it's not dark for too long, but in the dark it's always much worse than the light. I've got 35 to 45 knots of wind, 6.5 meter waves, and it's dreadfully uncomfortable. The boat's flying down waves at 30 knots sometimes before coming to an almost complete standstill, and it just means that you're being thrown around all over the place. You can hear the water rushing over the deck, and it's now that your mind starts to wonder what's going to happen. What happens if the structure fails? What happens if you hit something? It's much harder in the pitch black to be able to deal with the thoughts of the whole thing. I'm sitting on my bunk here. This is where I try and sleep. Sleeping is a bit of a commodity at the moment. Just worry about what's going to happen in the next 5 or 10 minutes, how long it's going to last for, when the next gust's going to come. I've got alarms here, which you can probably hear. That's my sleep alarm. You see the flashing light behind me. That wakes me up, so I set the alarm for 45 minutes, and if that, I then get up, go up on deck, check everything, empty the mainsail of water, which is a dangerous feat in itself, try and put the boat downwind, try and slow it down, choose a spot between the waves, jump on deck, bucket out the water, and then back down here again, try and get to some sleep again. Every time you're stopped by the wave, you're thrust into the bulkhead behind. So it's brutal, absolutely brutal. Only another half a day or to do a day of this, and then hopefully it's going to calm down. So looking forward to that, looking forward to getting my house in order, looking forward to eating some proper food, and relieving some of the stress. I do wonder why I do it sometimes.
Hello, it's Rich Wilson aboard Great American 4. I'm going to give you a short tour of the chart table here. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Starting over here on the left, port side, we have 3 satellite telephones. This is the fleet broadband that has a high data connection of 250K. This is an Iridium open port, and that has a 128K. And this is the fixed Iridium, which is a much slower but much smaller antenna, 9.6K. That's the one that has to be on all the time. These are some Bose headphones, noise canceling, that we might use to try to cut out some of the noise. Plus, in behind here we have a Bluetooth headset that will connect into the fixed Iridium in case I have to go somewhere in the boat to ask and then call into Joff Brown, who is our boat captain, and ask him a questions, that sort of thing. I can do it without taking the phone with me. Then up across the top here, we've got instrument data from the wind instruments, speedometer, and so forth. And this last one here is the autopilot. Now back over, this is our radar. This is a radar detector, so that if we turn this on and it detects a radar signal coming in, it will send a beep. The active radar will actually show a target on the screen. We've got our computer monitor here. We have two computers out behind the chart table, two laptops, identical, with the same software on. We have a small inclinometer here to show how much the boat is heeling one way or the other. Then we've got, this is our keel control. You can see it's a minus 40 degrees. We have two huge hydraulic rams that will control the top of the keel. The keel is on a hinge, and it's 13.5 feet below the bottom of the boat. There's a 3-ton bulb, and so that can be pushed out either side to help the balance of the boat challenge. Now this is a barograph, and you can see the barometer is going down. We're going to get another front tomorrow morning in, and down here we have our controls or our monitors for different kinds of electricity generation. We have the wind turbine over here. This is the hydro generators, solar panels, or the engine, and then this is the house battery bank and how much is being expended. Then we've got a bunch of clocks here. You can see this is Boston time. This is Universal Time, GMT, and this is still on French time. We have just a temperature gauge here and a kitchen timer for naps. And over here on the right, we have our switch panel, all the switches for the different systems on the boat. Most of these, or many of these, stay on all the time, and others are just turned on and off. For instance, this is the navigation light at the top of the mast. That just goes on at night. Then we have a VHF radio, which is for short conversations with ships that may be passing by. That's supposed to be on all the time also. Then we have a slew of DC power plugs and cigarette plugs, and underneath a USB hub for various USB connections into, for instance, the sleep watch that I have, plus the azimuth data as well. And here's another barograph, which you can see the storm we had the other day was this depression here, and then got better, and now it's getting worse again. So. And then up top here, we've just got a couple of charging ports for some GoPro cameras and some notes from friends back home. So that's a quick tour. I'll give you a tour of some of the software on another video. Over and out.
Well, a very warm welcome to Friday, the 9th of December. It's day number 34 on the racecourse for this 8th edition of the Vendee Globe, and it's still pretty tough times for the two leaders underneath New Zealand in a very difficult low pressure. Hard for them to break into the Pacific. Special guest today, well, still relatively quiet here on the plateau in the race HQ. We do have Guillaume, who will be interpreting what some of the French skippers have to say, and over in the Salon Nautique, not too far from here, speaking to us live, is Wouter Verbraek, the navigation specialist and meteo specialist who's worked extensively with Alex Thomson and also with Peter Harima, and of course Wouter, a Volvo ocean racer, and did the Barcelona World Race on board Hugo Boss 2 editions ago. So we're going to speak with Wouter shortly. Meantime, let's have a look at the 3D animation, a fly through the fleet, to see how things are progressing at the moment. Well, yesterday was a big day for the leaders, Alex and Armel, not just passing the midway point of the race, but also into the Pacific, and also the worst weather of the race so far. 130 miles apart for them, Alex slightly to the north. 1,100 miles behind, Paul Meha is in third, still resisting the advances of Jeremy Bayou. 147 miles behind, Paul on SMA is quicker. 320 miles behind them, approaching Cape Lewin just now, is Jan Elias. in 5th place, holding off Jean-Pierre Dick, 190 miles behind them. 410 miles further back, King Jean Le Cam is being pursued by Thomas Rion, but Rion is slightly going quite well after his repairs. Then north of the Kerguelen Islands, Louis Burton is 1,193 miles back from Rion. He really is out on his own. Then this group of 5, Stéphane Le Deraison, Conrad Coleman, Nander Fa, Arnaud Boissy and Amadeo are all within 157 miles of each other. And there we see a little bit of Sebastien Josse approaching approaching Australia, Roman Atanasio approaching South Africa, and he's making his repairs and all done there. Didac approaching the Cape of Good Hope, and Sebastiem Desmarau slightly out on his own, increasingly being left behind by Didac. Anyway, well, let's join Wouter Verbraek and have a little bit of a chat with him. Wouter, how are you?
Very well here at the Paris Boat Show, so nice and dry, and a lot better conditions than the Vendee guys are in.
What do you know about what Alex's situation at the moment? He's sailing a great race, but very, very tough low-pressure system for them underneath New Zealand.
Yes, indeed. So this is they've had some very typical Southern Ocean fronts come over. Now they are getting into a different type of regime in the Pacific Ocean, where they have low pressure systems with very hot but very potent air coming down from the tropics. And at the moment they are dealing with the very strong winds behind the front of one of those low pressure systems.
Just tell us a little bit about your work with Alex and the Hugo Boss team pre-start. What was your role?
So my role was twofold. The first one was actually doing all the testing and analysis to get the boat as fast as possible, with a lot of data analysis and focus on the foils. This is a lot of new territory, and the designers and the sailors are still learning a lot every day. So that was a big part. The other part was actually coaching Alex in learning how to improve his strategy and decision making around the world. So just to be clear, my role stopped the moment that he started the race, because the Vendee Globe is unsupported, so we cannot give him any weather information while he's sailing.
In terms of his actual performance and the data that you knew, it's still been particularly impressive.
Oh, absolutely. So I've done quite a lot of sailing with Alex, and every day we were amazed again by the improvement in performance of these foils. They really changed the way we sail these boats, and on a good note, it makes actually the boats easier to steer down the Southern Ocean waves.
And at the moment he's in this low pressure. I mean, Alex said yesterday that even he is impressed by the beating, the pounding that the boats are taking at the moment.
Yes, so this is particularly true because they are in the southerly winds behind the front. And the winds is something that they can manage, even though they're very squally, and the wind goes up from force 4, 5 to 8 in the squalls, which sometimes snow. But the biggest challenge the skippers have is because the sea state behind the front is so confused, so the seas are coming from all different directions. It's very hard to find a good rhythm and find a way to go fast but not break the boat.
And how long, from what you know just now, how long is this going to last for them? When will they get into a more typical Pacific regime?
So they are at the tail end of the front, so over the next 24 hours the conditions should improve for them. However, the next low is going to meet them on Monday, and this is a very intense low that comes from the north, so from the tropics, and potentially this will give them headwinds if they stay too far south. So tactically it will be a very crucial moment for Amel and Alex, because there are some big decisions to be made, and one is going to get it right and one is not.
So this could be a key phase of the race.
Sorry, say that again?
This could be a key phase of the race.
Oh, absolutely. So we have seen that just a small difference in a jibing angle a few days ago made to where we got now, so 130-mile difference. So this can all be turned upside down now in the next days, and I think Monday in particular will be a day to stay tuned to the tracker and see what choices boat skippers are making.
Looking ahead to, I mean, what everyone wants to know is what kind of differential would Alex need to have at Cape Horn to still have a chance of staying with Armel?
So I think the interesting phase is indeed after Cape Horn, because so far we've had mainly downwind conditions in which Alex's boat and his foil configuration is favorable. He has done really well in staying in touch with Armel with this broken foil. Up the Atlantic, it's mainly starboard tack, so he can use his existing foil on port, on the port side. So in terms of foils, they will be the same. Now the question is, how do these foils, which are quite different, perform upwind? Because the last 30 days is pretty much upwind from Cape Horn all the way home to the Bay of Biscay.
Good information. Thank you. Thank you, Wouter. If you stay with us, we're just going to have a quick look at the video that Alex sent yesterday, which really does give us a real insight into how conditions are and how he's feeling. This is what Alex said yesterday.
The priority for me is just looking forwards, keep the boat in one piece, and really try hard not to break anything. I did have a little problem yesterday morning with my foil. I had to go downwind, dead downwind virtually for 12 miles while I sorted out the system that pulled them in and out. It seemed to have caused a bit of a problem, but I managed to nip that in the bud quite early, so I'm pretty happy with that, and now I'm aware of that problem. I can keep my eye on it. So yeah, all good. Trying to get some sleep, but it's pretty difficult, and eating lots of energy bars and peanuts. Cooking's the problem, but apart from that, I feel good. I'm healthy. When the sun's out, I'm smiling, and in the pitch black in the middle of the night, well, lots of brown trouser moments, shall we say. Take care for now.
Well, I would imagine the brown trouser moments are continuing for Alex Thomson just now, but good to see the British skipper in good spirits and around about 130 miles or so behind Armel Cleash. We hopefully have Nandor Fa online. We've not spoken to him for a few days, but he's having a fantastic race, really. Nandor, how are you? Can you hear us?
Hi, I'm quite good. Hi, Andy, and hi, everybody. At the moment, I'm gliding with 25 knots of speed, and I've got 35 knots of wind. Quite foggy and cold conditions. I'm okay. The progress is very good, but very tough. So it is a very emotional moment for me, because I'm sailing about 30 miles north of the drifting OTO Bastid, and I was thinking on it, we are all here on the ocean, we are all in the hand of God. So this is quite interesting thoughts, and really tough Indian sailing at the moment.
And how are you physically today, Nandor? Are you in good spirits?
Say it again, please.
I'm just asking how you are physically. Are you strong? Have you had enough sleep?
The visibility is very, very poor. I can see 1.5, maximum 2 waves. So that is, it's very rainy and foggy. I can't see anything at the moment.
Nandor, are you still communicating with Stefan?
Andy, it is so noisy here in the boat, I can't hear you.
I'm just saying, are you still communicating with Stefan Le Diraison, who's beside you?
Sorry, I can't hear you, but I tell what I can. So I'm sailing in good conditions, good wind, good movement. The boat is all right, and me too. but it's not easy at the moment. That's all I can tell you from Spirit of Hungary. And if possible, please let me tell some Hungarian words. Is it possible?
Very quickly.
Hello, üdvözletem mindenkinek a Spirit of Hungary fedélzetéről. Meglehetősen nehéz körülmények között vitorlázok jelen pillanatban, rettenetesen zajos, azért nehezen hallok bármit és bárkit, csak mondani tudom. 20 csomó fölötti sebességgel megy a hajó, helyenként 25-tel, 34-36 csomó szél, nagy hullámok, óriási köd, és nagyon érdekes, hogy a sodródó, gazdátlanul sodródó ott hajó, a Quito de Pavantnak a hajója fölött vitorlázóképpen, ugye 30 mérföldre alattam sodródik, szerencsétlen, és hát ez nagyon érdekes gondolatokat vált ki itt a déli óceánon az emberből. Amúgy minden rendben van, jól haladunk, jó irányba, jó széllel, és nagyon remélem, hogy nem veszítem el ezt a szelet, még egy pár napig tudok vele menni. Ennyi, mindenkinek üdvözlet, sziasztok! Vissza a szó. Back to the word for you, Andy.
All the very best. So Nandor Father...
Did you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear. Thank you, Nandor. Some emotional moments, Nandor Fa talking about sailing 30 miles north of Quito de Pavon's boat. Obviously, the tracking or the position of the boat is updated all the time for the skippers in that area. The boat is tracked, but it's pretty tough emotional moments for Nandor, sailing close to the stricken boat of Quito de Pavon. Let's have a look then at the situation with Roman Atanasio. Good news from the south of the Cape of Good Hope, from Simon's Town. We see the images of Roman in Simon's Bay in good weather at that point. This is a drone footage of yesterday, and this is the situation on the bow of the boat with his rudders set out. And the weather was nice, ideal for the composite repairs that he had to make. And the good news is that he has completed those repairs. It took him a long time, and there you can see him working. And nice warm temperatures at the time. And Roman sent this video earlier on in the day that just confirmed that he's pretty much ready to go, just finishing off the composite repair on the hull. And this is Roman Atanasio earlier today.
Bon bah les gars, il pleut depuis ce matin là, mais à Simonstown c'est le délire. Alors j'ai une bonne et une mauvaise nouvelle. La mauvaise nouvelle d'abord, c'est que je suis trempé comme une soupe parce que depuis ce matin je me fais rincer. Par contre la bonne nouvelle, est-ce que vous voyez pas quelque chose qui a changé là? Hein? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a là sur le bateau? Il y a 2 safrans en place. Et voilà. Donc là il me reste un petit délaminage sur la coque à régler. Et puis après bah on est reparti.
So Roman Atanasio pretty much singing in the rain there, very happy skipper, done a fantastic job repairing his rudders, and hopefully there'll be further good news as he gets going. He'll just wait for the composite repair to go off. Hopefully we're going to go back to the Salon Nautique with Wouter Verbeek. Wouter, a few words about your compatriot, about Peter Hirema. He's doing a pretty good job in his first ever Vendee Globe.
Yes, the whole of Holland is cheering him on and really proud of this first entrant in the Vendee Globe. And we really hope that he can make it round. So I have worked with him before the start as well, and his preparations have been second to none. So obviously he doesn't have the experience like some of the veterans in the race, but he's doing really well, and I'm well impressed with how he's doing. I do get copied in on some of the emails from his boat, and he seems in very high spirits, and was very happy that he rounded Cape Horn and is hungry like a lion to get to the next Cape Lewin.
Fantastic. And meantime, obviously, Wouter, you watch this very closely. Is this Vendee Globe on your agenda for the future?
You have to ask my wife. I don't think she would agree. I think it's even in our marital agreement that I can do whatever racing I want, but not single-handed around the world racing.
Well, let's see how that develops. But a pleasure as always to speak with you, Wouter, and hopefully we'll catch up somewhere nice.
Thank you very much.
So that's Wouter Verbraek live with us in the Salon Nautique. Worked extensively with Alex Thomson and also saying some nice words there about his compatriot Peter Harima, and saying that Holland, his home country, really is following the first Dutch skipper to do the Vendee Globe. Let's have a very quick look at the standings at midday if we can. On the first page, we'll see that Armel Leclerc is 11,805 miles to go. He is well over the halfway mark now. Alex Thomson 143 miles behind. Paul Mea in third, 1,255 miles behind. Jeremy Bayou in fourth. Jan Elias fifth. Jean-Pierre Dick in sixth. Jean Le Cam in seventh. Thomas Riong eighth. Louis Berton in ninth. And Stéphane Le Deraison, who'd have thought, up into the top 10. Let's have a quick word with Guillaume, who's been sitting very nicely and patiently. Who did we speak to in the French vacations this morning?
So this morning we had, just before in the French Live, two skippers. We had first Fabrice Amedeo, who is maybe one of the happiest sailors out on sea, and we can see it on the videos. It's his first time in the south, and it's what he expected. It's very cold, very wet, and very physical, but he's still happy. And maybe we can say he's a journalist beside, and sometimes he writes some things and he sends it to the newspaper Le Figaro in France, and he even records his thoughts for after the race to write a book.
He's going to write a book then, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it, a book to explain his experience, his adventure.
And unlike Wouter Verbraek, somebody whose wife has let him go and do the race.
Maybe, not sure, because he already told us he misses his three little daughters.
Absolutely, very difficult, but sailing a fantastic race. Let's look at the second page of the rankings for our international skippers. Well, as I said, Nandor Fa, who we just spoke to, going really nicely up to 11th place. Conrad Coleman, who did the Barcelona World Race with him, only 60 miles behind. Conrad having a pretty tough time recently. Endo Akainen growing great guns in 15th. Rich Wilson in 18th. Peter Harima slightly up in the north at the moment, sailing very prudently in 19th. And Didac Costa in 21st. We spoke this morning with Sebastien Desmarau. Sebastien Desmarau just getting left behind very slightly by Didac Costa, and Sebastien is getting stuck in a kind of high pressure which is catching him, and he's been a little bit up and down. Yesterday was a bad day for Seb Desmarau, but better today after a good night's sleep, and this is what he said when we spoke to him earlier on in the morning.
We're just trying to get out of this mess that we are about to be swallowed in. There is a low, there's no wind catching up on us, so that's no good. And we're trying to go as fast as possible, to go east as fast as possible before being completely swallowed. Well, today I feel much better than yesterday. Yesterday I had a terrible day. It was not a good day for us. Just morale, fed up and tired and enough, and just a bad day. But so what I did was I went to bed at 9:30 last night and slept, and this morning I was firing up on all cylinders. So it was a very good thing to do, to go to bed when you feel down,
So life is better today?
It was just difficult to see Didac sailing away from us. When we were in front, the front runners, they always get better weather, and so when we were in front, he was catching up on us very slowly, but we were in a better weather all the time, and now that he's in a better weather, he's just sailing away from us, sailing 2 or 3 knots faster than us all the time.
How is the engine working? Is it all good?
Well, the engine is good. It just takes a lot of effort to start it, the other night, not yesterday, the night before, I had to drop the Jenica or to furl the Jenica because it was not the right sail, but before that I did put water in the ballast and I need the Jenica up. So I started the engine, took me an hour to start the engine with 5 or 6 attempts, so that was really frustrating.
So thankfully, Sebastiem Desmarau looking forward to passing the longitude of Cape of Good Hope, his first big milestone of the race. A little bit of mood swings there, and it's going to be very tough for him in the Indian Ocean alone, although hopefully Roman Attanasio will join him in due course. Guillaume, you spoke also with Stéphane Le Deraison, another skipper who's doing his first Vendee Globe. How was he this morning?
He was quite well. He's very satisfied of his race. He's actually in 10th position, so it's okay. With his boat, he's very happy because it's well balanced, quick enough, and maybe not comfortable, but he's okay with it, and he's okay with the food. He's not sick. Maybe a little fresh fruit would be great. If he misses something, it's only the life, you know, hanging out with friends and going to the cinema and things. Family, maybe.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's all we have time for with their English Live today. Jan Elias is in good form, and he sent us the video. Join us again tomorrow for our English Live. But let's leave today with Jan Elias and difficult moments or interesting moments for him. He will pass the point where he had his accident in 2008, but he's in good spirits today.
Bon, bah ce matin, c'est ambiance 40e. C'est pas très beau, il y a de la pluie, il y a le front qui nous rattrape. Et donc, on fait la course avec lui. Et le problème, c'est que la mer est pas très bonne. Je sais pas si vous voyez derrière moi, mais la mer est pas énorme, mais elle est pas très bien rangée.
Okay, so we just put our second reef in with the squall came through. We'll do our protocol and roll up the fractional Jenniker and roll out the staysail, head back upwind, 70 degrees true angle, and then the mainsail will flag back from the mast. We try to put the reef in going downwind. It's almost blown up against the mast and the rigging and it won't come down. So we did that. We used to have one problem here with the third reef line. The next one is caught around the sailcloth at the end. Boom. So before we would be able to put a reef in, we've got to go sort that out. And that entails carefully climbing up here. Oh, take two on that. There we go. Out there. somewhere. And get it out around the end. Each of these leaf lines goes on one side or the other. We get back there, it's nice albatross swimming around looking for breakfast. The boat stirs up squid, and apparently they think they can find it more easily, so that's good. Okay, put that back in there. Just gotta get out here. Tug on that reef line. Okay. There you go, that's up there straight, so now pull that in, come down right into where it's supposed to be.
Voilà, ici donc Jean Le Cam à bord de Finistère Mervent. J'ai décidé de vous faire un petit clip vidéo qui s'appellera Quand l'exceptionnel devient votre quotidien. Donc voilà, parce qu'en fait, on est tous habitués, pas tous habitués, mais je vais dire d'avoir des vents de 30-35 nœuds pendant 2 heures, 3 heures, 5 heures, 6 heures, mais quand ça dure pendant plusieurs jours, ça devient exceptionnel, mais c'est exceptionnel. Mais ça devient aussi votre quotidien. C'est pour ça que je voulais vous faire un petit plan là-dessus, parce que ça c'est la réalité. Donc voilà, on a des fois boire le café qui sort de la tasse, être accroupi pour manger, faire ses besoins, comme je ne sais pas comment on fait, accrocher de tous les côtés, parce que forcément, quand on est assis sur quelque chose, faut se tenir par le haut, parce que sinon ça le fait pas. Et voilà, caméra 2, ça tourne à l'extérieur s'il vous plaît. Donc voilà, là on est sur une séance, donc comme je disais, ce petit clip sera sous une musique de Uber dans l'océan Indien en bruit de fond. Et donc voilà, c'est toujours le même clip, hein, toujours l'exceptionnel qui devient votre quotidien. Et ça c'est quelque chose. Et voilà, un petit surf à bord de Finistère Mervent à plus de 26 nœuds. Et donc, comme je vous le disais, pour imager un peu les choses, ça remue et c'est vrai que, bon, on s'y habitue, quoi. Ça image bien notre sujet du jour qui est, l'exceptionnel devient notre quotidien. Et c'est vrai que ces images parlent d'elles-mêmes. C'est vrai que l'horizon n'est pas horizontal parce que le bateau, il est penché, donc... bon, il faut tourner sa tête, je sais pas dans quel sens, mais enfin bon, c'est pas très grave. Voilà. Voilà pour les images extérieures. On va revenir à la caméra 1, les studios, caméra 1, allez. Donc voilà, l'exceptionnel qui devient notre quotidien, c'est voilà, c'est la cuisine, c'est toutes les choses du quotidien qui deviennent qui sont complètement où on se dirait que jamais on va les faire dans ces conditions-là, on les fait quand même. On arrive quand même la vie reprend le dessus à chaque fois. Hein. L'être humain, il a une capacité à s'adapter qui est assez incroyable. Moi, je suis tout le temps stupéfait par les capacités d'adaptation qu'a l'être humain aux situations qui durent un peu. Et on croit qu'on n'y arrive pas, mais on y arrive quand même. Allez, bonsoir, bonne journée à tous, et puis yes, we can.